In this video, we are delving into the vast world of Hangfire, where a single tool can do more than just triggering background jobs. Let's discover how Hangfire can save you time, boost productivity, and make your applications more powerful than ever before. I have just created a .NET Core Web API project to demonstrate how to use Hangfire. But the great thing about Hangfire is that you can use it in different types of .NET Core applications, such as MVC, Blazor, or even console applications. It's a versatile tool that can be applied in various scenarios to make your job easier. The initial step is to install the Hangfire library from NuGet packages. Now let's go ahead and search for Hangfire in the package manager. Right at the top of the list, you can see the Hangfire library. I'll go ahead and install it. We have the option to designate a specific database for Hangfire to store job details. There are various database choices available for Hangfire, and I'll be showing you the details shortly. At the moment, I'm configuring it to use a SQL Server database. Before we dive into the development, let me share a few important details with you. I have brought up the Hangfire website here, and you can find the website URL in the video description below. If we navigate to the overview page and take a look at the left side menu, you'll notice an option called Extensions. Within this section, you'll find a comprehensive list of extensions that can be seamlessly integrated with Hangfire. Scrolling down, you'll come across a dedicated storage section. These extensions come in handy when you want to explore storage options beyond SQL Server. As you can see, the list includes options like Azure Cosmos DB, Firebase, MongoDB, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and more. To use these storage alternatives, you can simply install the respective libraries from NuGet packages, giving you the flexibility to choose your preferred storage method. Before we proceed with our development, I would like to introduce you to a reliable hosting provider called Hostinger. If you are in the market for VPS hosting to host your applications, Hostinger is a top-notch choice you should definitely explore. I have included my affiliate link in the video description below. Feel free to check out the exclusive offers they provide, and it's a great way to support this channel while getting top-quality hosting services. Alright, let's kickstart our development process. To begin, we'll start by adding the necessary dependencies. We can easily incorporate Hangfire into our project by utilizing the add Hangfire method to add the service. We'll also need to configure a few settings. Within these configurations, we'll start by adding a connection string for our database. Let's begin by adding this connection string to our appsettings.json file. I have named it dbConnection. As you can see, I specified the database name as Hangfire_demo, set the user ID as SA, and included the password. Next, we'll retrieve this connection string from the configuration file. Then, I'll make a call to the use SQL Server storage method, passing the connection string as a parameter. In addition, we must ensure that the Hangfire server is added to our dependencies services. We can achieve this by simply invoking the add Hangfire server method. Now let's run the application and I'll demonstrate an error that we are likely to encounter. As you can see, we are receiving an error message that says cannot open database. This issue arises because we haven't created the database yet. So the Hangfire server is unable to establish a connection. Let's resolve this by creating the database. I'm simply copying the database name from our appsettings.json file. Now, using the SQL Server Management Studio, we can proceed to create the database. With the database successfully created, you'll notice that there are currently no tables present. I'll go ahead and run the application once more. As you can see, there are no errors this time. Now, let's switch over to SQL Management Studio and refresh the tables. You can now see that Hangfire has automatically generated some tables. These tables will be used to store job information and its associated details. Next, I'll illustrate how we can create various types of jobs in Hangfire. To do this, I'm going to set up an API controller called Job Controller. Now let's delve into creating our first type of job, the background job. A background job can be used for performing resource-intensive tasks such as email delivery, file transfer operations, data import or export processes, or any operation requiring dedicated time and resources, all seamlessly executed in the background. I'll go ahead and create this method. This method will return an OK response. To create a background job, we'll make use of the background job.enqueue method. We can pass the action we want to trigger as a parameter. In this example, we'll simply write a message to the console window, which will say background job triggered. Let's see this in action. I'll run the application. As you can see, we have the console window on the left and the Swagger page on the right. Using Swagger, I'll call this API method. Almost immediately after executing, you can observe that the action is triggered. I'll execute the method once more and you can see the message displayed in the console window again. Next, let's explore how to perform a scheduled job. I'm adding a new method inside our controller named createScheduledJob. Similar to the previous method, this one also returns an OK response. First, we'll create a datetime object to specify when we want to schedule the job. In this case, let's schedule it to run 5 seconds after triggering this method. We can create a datetime offset object based on our datetime object. To schedule the job, we'll use the background job.schedule method. It takes two parameters, the action to be triggered and the datetime offset. I'll run the project and schedule a job. Let me execute the new method from Swagger. As you can see, I have executed the API method and now the job will be triggered within 5 seconds. We can observe the job's output in the console window. I'll execute the method once more to demonstrate that the job is indeed executed as scheduled. I hope this clarifies how to schedule a job for a specific date and time. Now, let's dive into creating a continuation job. A continuation job is a job that executes immediately after another job has completed. As you can see, the background job.schedule method is returning a string. This returned string is actually the job ID of the scheduled job. Similarly, background job.enqueue also returns a job ID. In this new method, I am scheduling a job just as we did before and storing the job ID in a variable. Then I am creating a continuation job using the background job.continueJobWith method. For the first parameter, we pass the parent job's ID, which is the job ID of the scheduled job. Next, we specify the action to be triggered in this continuation job. In this case, I am writing a continuation job 1 triggered message to the console window. Keep in mind that even this continuation job returns a job ID. We can create additional continuation jobs as well. Let's get the job ID of this continuation job and use it to create another continuation job that should trigger upon completion of this one. We'll do the same for one more continuation job. Now let's run the application and see how it all works. I'll call the API method. The first scheduled job will trigger after 5 seconds, and the continuation jobs will follow one by one. As you can see, all the jobs are triggered sequentially. Moving on, let's create a new API method for recurring jobs, which happen to be one of the most commonly used job types in Hangfire. With recurring jobs, you can repeatedly run a job at a specific time intervals. To create a recurring job, we'll utilize the recurring job.addOrUpdate method. The first parameter we need to pass is an ID for this job. If there is already another recurring job with the same ID, it will be updated. Next, we specify the action to be triggered. And finally, we provide a cron expression. There are various online tools available for generating cron expressions tailored to your needs. Personally, I often use ChatGPT for generating Hangfire cron expressions. For instance, if you want a job to run every 1 minute, you can simply ask ChatGPT to create a Hangfire cron expression for that. Here is a cron expression generated by ChatGPT for running a task every minute. If you need the job to run every 5 minutes instead, you can request a different expression. We can use this expression for triggering the job in every 5 minutes. For our example, let's create the cron expression for running the job every minute. I'll run the application and put it to the test. Let's trigger the recurring job API now. As it might take a bit of time, I'll fast forward through the video. I've waited for 3 minutes and you can see that the job was executed 3 times, exactly as scheduled. Moving forward, let's explore how to leverage injected dependencies while executing the jobs. I'll start by creating a folder named Jobs. Inside this folder, I'll create a class named TestJob. In this class, I'm making use of iLogger, which is a default injected dependency in .NET Core. To access this dependency, we can simply retrieve it from the class constructor and assign it to a read-only object. Within this class, I have added a method named writeLog. This method is designed to log a message passed as a parameter along with the current date and time. Now let's explore how to call this method from Hangfire Jobs. We'll need to make a few small changes to our current approach. First, when using the background_job.enqueue method, we need to specify the class name as well. Then we can assign the method to be called using a lambda expression. We can apply the same approach to the background_job.scheduleJob method as well. I'll make these modifications to all the jobs in our createContinuationJob API method. Likewise, we can also adjust the recurring job accordingly. Now let's run the project and see how it all works in action. We'll begin with create background job. As you can observe, the log message is being displayed. Next, let's try the createScheduleJob method. It should trigger after 5 seconds. Now, let's check the continuation job. Finally, let's examine the recurring job. I'll fast forward through the video again as it might take some time. As you can see, everything is working perfectly fine. All the jobs are executing as expected. Next, I'll demonstrate how to enable the Hangfire Dashboard. The Hangfire Dashboard allows us to view the details of our jobs. To enable it, we can use the app.useHangfireDashboard method. I'll run the application now and I'll show you how the dashboard looks. To access the dashboard, you can simply add Hangfire to our application's URL. Here you can see various values, a real-time graph, and a history graph on the Hangfire dashboard. Within the Jobs section, you can view the jobs categorized by their status. Let's take a look at the succeeded jobs. By clicking on a specific job, you can access more details such as latency, duration, and more. Since we have a recurring job scheduled, you can observe it in the real-time graph when it's triggered. If you click on the recurring jobs option, you can access the details related to recurring jobs. This includes information like the cron expression, next execution, last execution, and more. Clicking on the last execution allows you to delve deeper into the execution details. We also have the option to customize the Hangfire dashboard further by providing parameters to the app.useHangfireDashboard method. For instance, you can specify a custom path with which the dashboard can be accessed. In this example, we have set a custom path and now you can access the dashboard using only the path we have specified. We can further fine-tune the Hangfire dashboard by providing a dashboard options object as a parameter. In this example, we have set a custom title for the dashboard and disabled the dark mode by setting dark mode enabled to false. Now let's take a look at the dashboard. As you can see, the title we assigned is displayed on the top left and dark mode is disabled. In the footer bar, you might have noticed it's displaying the database name. If you want to hide this, you can simply set the display storage connection string property to false. As a result, it's no longer displayed in the footer. We can enhance the security of the dashboard by enabling authentication. In this example, I'll demonstrate how to enable basic authentication. To get started, we need to install the hangfire.dashboard.basic.authentication library from NuGet packages. Once installed, we can use the Hangfire custom basic authentication filter object to specify a username and password for authentication. I'll run the application now to demonstrate how it works. As you can see, when we access the dashboard URL, it now prompts us for credentials. You can only access the dashboard by providing the assigned username and a password. In this tutorial, we have uncovered the power of Hangfire from scheduling, background, and recurring jobs to customizing your Hangfire dashboard. With these skills, you can supercharge your .NET Core applications. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more valuable insights. Thanks for watching and happy coding!